Forfedrenes Taarer is the debut full-length from Heimland, which is a Norwegian black metal band who are very much in the style of early pagan black metal from Norway. And that is a very specific sound, and it's not the complete story here. But if you understand the what was special about early Campfire, Hades, um, and Take, and just Enslaved, and a number of bands, you'll understand what this is right away. This is a very tuneful pagan black metal record that is to a high standard from these mostly Rogaland-based folks who are still very young. And in that sense, that this is both something that can be heartfelt but also imitative at the same time. I think the melodic statements here do feel familiar a lot of the times, but they do a good job of breaking up the focus of the record so that it doesn't just sound like an also an also ran, that kind of thing. Um, so we'll get into a clip here, and then I'll sort of dig into what I think of the full listen. So the tendency for this type of Norwegian black metal is for all of it to be lumped together, even though it's all quite different. And I think the best example of that is going back to the first Helheim record and realizing that Jormungandr is completely different than anything from Campfire or Windir or Take. And none of those bands are completely similar either. They all have their own verve. And I mentioned Campfire up front because that is their early sound on their first two records and EP is really the gentler, folkish hand that drives a lot of the better songs or more distinct songs on this record that are a bit in line with what they presented on Filmbeventer back in 2021, which was a cassette tape they released. Now on this record, we do get a little bit more windier in the sound. I think that there's a folkish element that begins to sort of overtake their interest, and it's some of the strongest voicing on the record in terms of the guitar work. This isn't a severe, cold, or decidedly blasphemic record as far as I understand. It is a more oaken experience that is pretty varietal in its tone, and almost to its detriment, because we get through these first two very distinct songs that are a definite mode of the first two songs, and then we get into more of a sort of folk metal thing that is a little bit different. It does feel like they kind of want to do this sort of Viking metal, ebullient melodic voice, but they're not sure exactly where to start with it or if it's not too far. So anyway, I think that if you're a fan of, you know what I'm talking about. If you're a fan of this stuff already, I think just mentioning one or two of those bands is clear enough. But the real concern is this just an average clone, or is there something to it? And I think the reason that I'm reviewing it is because there is something to it. I don't think this is quite a band that know exactly what they want to do, or they haven't pinned it down on what they really want to dedicate to. But what they are doing is bringing a lot of enthusiasm and a couple of original thoughts and modern melodicism into this style, which is less typically folkish in some ways. And you'll see this band compared to like Sargeist on some level, which is not anywhere near the truth, but they do have a strong modern melodic voice, which will appeal to folks who are more interested in a modern black metal sound. So there's some crossover appeal there. There's some classic appeal there, and I think this is a band that has a lot of. They show a lot of promise for where they're going with in all these multiple directions. As long as they continue to keep the quality up in terms of actual statement, I think they'll go somewhere with it. So check out the full review on the website, and the album is out this Friday.